Greetings, good evening, hello, what's goody?
Was cracking.
Family, got Mr. Chill Out in the building, and of course, your boy, the Iceman, aka Big Aaron. It's been a while since we've done a show.
Yes.
Um, lots been going on. Lots been going on here at the home front. Family and shit like that. Um, More recently, and I think this is new news to Chill Out. I have gout.
Nah.
Ain't that some shit? That's what's
That is
that's,
news. What
that's what's
the
kept.
hell?
Yeah, man, it's some bullshit, man.
Cherry
And
juice?
it's what's kept me off the map. Cherry juice. That's how I kind of figured it out. So last week we were supposed to go live. You remember we were supposed
Yeah.
to go live on Tuesday. We didn't, and I wasn't feeling so well. Monday and Tuesday. I said, you know what? Let me try because I recognize the symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, I also have old injuries with my feet, broken bones and things from football and the Marine Corps and all that. So and a lot of times they would get inflamed either from over exercising or the weather. And so initially, so let's start last weekend. It was happy birthday to you once again, Mr. Chill Out. October 12th makes what 44 journeys around the sun.
Yeah, first time I'll be doing this at 44.
Yeah. Um, and so the 13th, the next day, as you know, was my seventh wedding anniversary. So
Yes.
my wife and I, as we always do, go charging up into the mountains, on a road trip. And she had us at the Bush Kills Falls, which is like the Niagara Falls of Pennsylvania. Now it's beautiful. And we took, they have these four paths that you can take. They're hiking paths. One's like beginner level. It's like the bunny slope. It's 15 minutes. One's kind of intermediate, which is like a 45 minute. And then there's like an advance, which is like an hour and a half. And then there's like one that's like set to kill. It's like 2.5 hours. It's a big. And the longer they are, the more difficult the terrain is. So we went for the hour and a half, right? The
Ooh.
advance thing, and it was great. It was beautiful. It was very doable. I mean, we weren't like it challenged us, but we weren't so. It didn't kill us, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
It did what
Right.
we expected it to do. We went to go work out, and we got a good workout. Up and down, lots of uneven terrain, lots of hills, and lots of stair climbing, lots of steps. Because it's waterfalls. You're up and down this mountain for an hour and a half. So at any rate, the next day or the next 2 days, and then it got cooler, right? You remember it got the temperature plummeted here on the East Coast. It was like down in
Yes.
the
Yeah.
40s at night. So I
Yeah.
put two together, thinking, oh, it's an old injury from maybe football or the Marines, coupled with you know some uneven terrain, exercise and stuff, and then the
Right.
temperature going down. Something, all right, it's just a flared, whatever. But the pain was excruciating to a degree where this isn't. So I said, babe, do me a favor, go get some cherry juice. Let's just see what happens. So I drank this quart of cherry juice, and it provided immediate, not total, but immediate relief in a way where I knew that's what it was. It was gout, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
took the pain from like a 9 to like a 6 right away. So now I'm doing all this research, trying to figure out. And I got gout in the family, right? Like my father has gout, my mother has gout. My cousins have gout. John, all those folks have gout.
Mm.
So, so now I'm talking to them and I'm doing research and changing diet and everything. And I kind of knew it was an inevitability at some point. So anyway, here we are. So
Mm.
all week last week, I'm down. And when I say down, like this activates the cortisol in the body. So you actually feel sick even though there's nothing wrong with you, right? Like I'm really tired. The pain that my body is going through is just insane. It really it's debilitating. It puts you off the shelf for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was horizontal for pretty much all week last week into the weekend. I'm still hopping around. The shit hurts, man. And it jumped from one foot to the other. It started in my right foot. Now it's in my left foot. And my wife is running around like, a headless nurse trying to, and she's doing a fantastic job, right? Like making sure I'm comfortable, making sure that I'm treating it properly. You know what I mean? Like I get NSAIDs. Just before the show started here, I'm making this turmeric and ginger tea with
Okay.
honey. Turmeric's supposed to be a great inflammatory, like similar to cherry. Cherry juice is the best,
Right.
but she's running around massaging kale with lemon juice and olive oil to make salads for me and making me these vinaigrettes and all this stuff. My daughter's walking in here right now as we speak with a glass of cold water. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Um, so the family's been rushing to take care of, the
Did,
silverback gorilla, but I have been down and out. So
oh
much, got to apologize
no.
to the,
YouTube streets.
yeah,
YouTube.
exactly. To these YouTube streets, man. We've been off the map, and it's been my fault, not my fault, but my doing. And of course, with the election time being upon us, Councilor Peach is on his political. We won't be seeing him until Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
between that and Veterans Day and all, I mean, his responsibilities, his plate is full. He's got enough to eat.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Maverick as always. We'll miss you till you come back. You already know.
yeah.
Keep the seat warm for you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry
um,
to hear that. Yeah, that was news to me. It was news to me. I did not
no,
know. I
hold on.
just
I'm gonna adjust your mic. I can barely hear you. Hold on. Edit mic settings. Turn you up just because you're a little quiet on mine. All right, say something.
mic check 1 2. What's up,
I like
chat? Love you.
I like it better. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So yeah, I did not know. Hope you get better sooner than later, bro. I'm sorry to hear about that. I know that is very painful, uncomfortable, and just a pain in the rear. So I hope you get past that sooner than later. Get you back out here, white knuckles on the concrete.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So, with
So
that being
keeping,
said, huh?
yes, sir. No, go ahead.
With that being said, I'm going to acknowledge the chat and then get this cracking. Oh, and another thing, hopefully, the special guest will make himself available. Um, I guess I'll call him again in a minute. He, we all will find out in a minute. But let's take it to the chat and acknowledge those who are here. Quincy Fearson in the building. What's happening, my man? Glad you could show up. O'Shea Lennox, the hobbyist, of course. You always expect him to be on deck, man. That guy is the man.
Shout out,
I
shout
was
out.
watching his channel actually. He and I share some hobbies and interests. He was at the time operating railway trains. He was operating commuter rails. Oh, thank you, dear. Appreciate it. And my daughter brings me a snack. He was operating commuter rails. We only started talking about like some other kinds of rails, freight rails, and all that. And he's into like simulators.
Yeah, I saw his
Um,
channel. I
you
saw.
saw? Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. You were
I've
there.
tuned. Yeah, I tuned in.
Yeah,
Couple likes for you, O'Shea. I saw he had simulators. So go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
yeah. He into some interesting stuff, racing sims, flight sims. So I got to get with him, especially on the racing sim thing. That's my jam.
Yeah.
Um, Almond Eyes is in the building. How are you, my dear? Glad you showed up. I'm sure she's keeping a clean eye on the political climate. Check out her channel when you get a chance. Post your if anybody wants to post a link to your channels, please feel free to do so. I'll try to get someone to post them shortly myself. The first lady's in the building, wishing everyone a good evening. Hello, my dear. She's some chaos. I guess she's running the corporation that is a family. She's got the kids running around doing shit. So, Shiesty Bum in the building. How are you? We'll get started on the topic in a minute. And I know this person, don't you? Can you read that? I heart Rapunzel. Is that Ruby?
Uh, it is.
Hey, Ruby,
It
what's up?
is. It was.
I hope uh, I hope you find this episode entertaining. Um,
Her
well,
and
Shay
Zay
says
want
she's.
to hop. Her and Zay want to get on the show. Actually, we got to
What's
make
that?
that happen. I said her and Zay need to get on the show. They actually were talking about it, so we might have to make that happen.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. O'Shea has been looking over for us for the last 2 weeks. Didn't know I was down. Yeah, man. We were scheduled to be down on the 12th and 13th. Um, again, Chill Out's birthday and my anniversary, but that kind of led into another week. So, Amanize has posted the link to her page in the chat. Please do
Yep,
hit her up, like, share, subscribe, and all of that good business
yep, yep,
to
yep.
her channel as well as here. Hello, Shiesty. How are you, my dear? Um, Feel free to hit the chat. Hit the link. I'm gonna put a link here in just a moment.
Hit the
I
link.
guess we'll get into the topic. What are you gonna say, Joe?
I said, hit the link. Hit the link.
Oh, guess who else is in the building? Kasim McCoy stopping by. What's happening, man?
Hey.
Yeah, feel free to hit the link yourself if you want to come join us. Yeah, Quincy co-signs that Harmonize is great content. I would agree. Um, yeah, O'Shea, yeah, celebration that ended up in celebrating too hard. Ruby says, Andrew says, hi. What's up, Andrew? What's good, man? Be good, kiddo. Um, so let's get right into it. The past couple of weeks, the topic has been centered around the ladies, the women.
Hey, ladies.
Today's topic was, femininity.
Hmm.
And last week's topic was, do women respect today's man? So I figured we would combine them into one conversation, and I have it titled "Femininity and Respect: Friends or Foes." Um, Now, what I guess we can start with trying to let me get your definition of what femininity is, or what you think it is, or what you think the world thinks it is, and I guess we'll go from there.
Well, I don't give a fuck what the world thinks it is. What I look at it
Great
as
start.
is uh, nurturing, uh, kindness, uh, femininity, beauty, uh, and then you start just paraphrasing mother, sister, things of that nature, and the nurturing which comes with it, and the way she maneuvers through the world, speaks to people and operates. Uh, way she holds herself to a certain standard of content, the way she's gonna have her mannerisms and be respected through the eyes of the world. Maybe she, you know, dresses, all that falls under femininity, in my eyes.
Yeah, I would agree. Did you your second word was you said kindness was the second word?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, do you think and Shiesty Bum says she says it's conditional? Um, Quincy says that we bred into a culture of instant rage. I like that. That's a bit of a gem. It's unfortunate.
Wait, you're not wrong. You're not
Right.
wrong.
I mean, I don't
But
like it, but it's true.
but you're not wrong. But for staying on topic, that's another subject.
Yeah.
altogether. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
So, well, let me ask you this. So, I'm hearing that femininity is conditional and a man has to provide a space for a woman to be feminine, right? Like that's what
Wait, we not
these
there yet. We not there yet. He just asked me
right.
what it was,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Well,
fine, right?
we'll get there. We'll get there. But
We'll get there.
in defining what it is, do you believe that it is at least conditional, or do you believe it's something that is
I
something that
think it's in.
always
I'm sorry.
good?
No, I feel it's internal for sure. But when it conditional is who gets it, but isn't that what this world is premised on, right? Like not everyone gets your kindness. That's how you create scammers and thieves and things of that nature. That's another topic I don't want to spin off. That's just my, you know, comparison. But isn't that how we operate? Not everyone is supposed to get your full kindness, but you still hold yourself to a standard, just like a gentleman does, right? When he walks out into the street, he's holding himself to a standard because this thing is a two-way street of energy. How you
Okay.
conduct yourself is how I'm going to conduct myself. Now people have agendas, and that's once again another subject, because then you're changing that energy flow between the two people. But if you're conducting yourself in a certain way and a gentleman is conducting himself a certain way, female and male alike, you're going to generate the right energy where the femininity and the masculine uh pheromone or hormone comes out, right? And then that's moving that way. And that's what I'm saying. It's all that though. And I might be a little off for some people, but that's what I'm saying. That energy flow is between the man and the woman, right? And if she's acting feminine and he's a gentleman, he's gonna act accordingly. Now people are sleazy and that goes with a whole nother rabbit hole. But if we're talking about just a genuine movement of what that is, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. So, all right. Are there any negative components to femininity? Let's start there.
uh, weaponized for
No,
sure. I think
inherently negative. Not what. Not because now what
I think
when
that
you
was my answer, right? I think that those things inherently bad.
so you
I
don't
don't
think
think
there's no way
we all come
femininity
out.
can show up as toxic or negative.
Oh no! So here we go. This is perfect that you drove this way, Aaron. This is what I was thinking, right? The flow of energy can be controlled more properly than by a woman. That's why they pick up on the nigga sassiness faster than men do, right? When he's doing some craziness or whatever, or he's talking sly, right? I peeped some of the show and why this went the way this went, right? Of some of Hamp show earlier today. And if he or she is trying to manipulate a situation to maneuver a certain way, so back to the femininity, yeah, they pick up and they got different things. Inherently, they can move it how they want to move it. So if that's a character trait, if you want to manipulate things in a certain way to go in your direction due to your feminine power in the world, because they move at a different, you know, I'm not trying to get too deep today, but they move differently than we do, obviously.
But femininity is self, though.
No,
Does it have any negative traits inherently?
I can't. I can't pinpoint that to say yes indefinitely.
All right. Does it have positive traits?
Yeah, for sure. So, so you're saying is there a yin yang thing? If it has positive traits, it has negative.
Oh, I'm asking you.
Fuck, Aaron. You know I would have to say yeah.
Okay. Let's do this differently. Do what is masculinity?
Knowledge, wisdom, thoughtfulness, strength, compassion, understanding.
Is femininity the opposite of masculinity?
Are we talking about like solid and liquid or soft or hard or things of that nature?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Or black and white or up and down?
Or yin yang. Yeah, yeah. I don't like you right now. You know how this would go when you ask that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm look, the scientist is here today. We're gonna get to the bottom of
Oh,
this.
yeah, I know. And the artist is here today, so this is perfect.
Uh,
And we haven't spoke to each other chat till just now, so this is all genuine as hell. Uh, yeah, supposed to be that's balance.
the chat is going at it. I've since stopped reading. I've stopped reading the chat to let you know they have engaged in their own back and forth. It's getting, yeah. But go ahead.
For balance, it's supposed to be, right?
Right. So considering that, what is femininity now?
No, that just makes me say each one of those have yin yang within them. So they all both have their sides of black and white
Of course.
that then conflict with the black and white of the bigger picture.
So let me maybe this will make it a little easier. And Shiesty Bun just put something. She wrote something that I believe and that I don't believe. But one thing I do believe: people possess both feminine and masculine. I do believe that's to be true. I don't believe. Well, you know me. I don't really. The whole idea of an absolute is lost on me. I
Mm.
believe there are combinations and levels and degrees of things. So yes, I agree. Both women and men and women have masculinity and femininity. I don't believe that what you have is necessarily conditional as much of it is a, um, a personal choice. But we'll get to that in a minute. I think where a lot of people are getting lost is they try to associate all the positive traits of femininity with women without assigning any of the negative ones. And then they say it's conditional as if it's something that can be used as currency in exchange for what they want. And then when the conversation talks about negative traits of femininity, they get mislabeled as being masculine trait.
No, that's just misusing the energy in the air. That has nothing to
No, I'm
do
saying as
with.
far as the conversation.
Yeah, I know that has nothing to do with no, you trying to mislabel things for your own benefit. See, now we're going down that
Right.
rabbit hole. That wasn't trying
Right.
to go down it, but that's where we are. Now you just misusing it. That has nothing to do with femininity or feminine and masculinity or any of that. That just got straight that you want to misuse the energy for your benefit. Because men generate energy. Look at our makeup in our
That's
body,
when,
and women control energy. Look at the babies they pop out. They
well,
took
yeah, they
that
wield
energy
it.
you released and they created a baby. So they
And
control
they
the
wield
energy,
it. Right.
right? So what you're doing is misusing that energy.
World
Now,
class. What's up, homie? Feel free to hit the link. This is a good one. Go ahead. I'm listening.
so see, I don't like to point the finger though, y'all. I love y'all, chat, but when you talking to Mr. Chill Out, and I might be feeling a little emotional about this thing right here, y'all. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't like to point the finger in one direction, pink or blue. I do not. I'm a strong believer. Aaron knows this with this yin yang force. The energy you give out is the one you get back. So when I speak of things like this, it's like I'm telling y'all, I'm not trying to point the finger. It's a two-way street here. It's about how y'all generate the energy to one another. it's going to have negative traits. I mean, I think that's more survival skills, though, Aaron. Like when you talk about that, and you're trying to attach it to other things. Like, so not everybody's a thief, but you'll steal if you're starving. You would definitely grab a loaf of bread if you starving out here with nothing. You'll never know your limits until you push to that limit. So now misusing the energy is something totally different. That's something totally different. Now you just being dishonest with the energy because you know you can control it. You looking for buttons to push on people or how to manipulate people is just controlling the energy.
I think that's part of the problem is that we're looking for merit, value, and flaw and transgression. We're trying to define these things, and we're trying to assign these things. I think if people would worry less about finger pointing and worry more about defining and then accepting the definition of, then I think we'll get to a greater a place of greater clarity, right? What I'm saying is, if we looked at things more objectively and assign them appropriately, then we'll have a clearer understanding of what's happening. As I listen to these conversations, all I hear is more arguments about what is and what isn't, and who gets to be assigned what. And it's all based on the positive or negative aspects being pit against one another. But I don't think anyone ever asked the question, what are the positives and negatives of masculinity? What are the positives and negatives of femininity?
Mm-hmm.
And then going from there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because like some people might look at the positive. One of the positives of femininity might be, let's say, um, um, uh, compassion or nurturing, and that's something that is looked at as a positive among women. But a nurturing man isn't looked at as positive. Or let's say a component of masculinity is aggression, and then a man that is aggressive or assertive is a positive trait within a man, but it's negative within a woman. You see what I'm saying? How about
I'm
there's
listening.
negatives and positives to both masculinity and femininity, and then we see which of those exists in each other as individuals.
Mm. So you're saying,
Because if you're trying to go down all the list of positive traits that are feminine, that are feminine, and then use them to describe a woman, what you're essentially doing is describing women as inherently benevolent. Or if you go down all these traits that list a man as masculine and they're all negative, then it puts us in a light where we're inherently malevolent. Or if you use
okay,
all of the traits that make a man look good as far as masculinity, but then use them to describe a woman, you're making her look inherently malevolent. And then the same thing with femininity. All the things that look good on a woman in femininity, when you use them to describe a man, now it makes us look like we're lesser examples of men. And that's where the water gets muddy. I think
a good trait
keep
is a
separate
good
until,
trait, right? A good trait is a
a
good.
good trait is a good trait. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. Why are we labeling that?
Right.
Why are we? So you saying that uh, if Papa was a Rolling Stone or Mama was out here running open loosey goosey, and the other parent was the one who stepped up to take care of the kids, that other parent is less than the other parent in some certain way.
No, I mean one parent was irresponsible and the other one was a victim of that
Yeah. Well,
person's irresponsibility, and that's the end of that.
no, but we're talking about female to female. We put one's a single dad and one's a single mom. It was my true. statement of what I was trying to make, right? So we're saying that the single dad is less than the single mom, or the single mom is less than the single dad. Not to
No.
me. They both stepped up and did one. Somebody had to nurture out of those situations, right? No matter what the gender was, someone had to make sure the kids got up, the bills were paid. It's unfortunate for however those scenarios and situations happen in life, but they happen. Back to the point is none of those parents were a lesser parent. They had traits to do what they needed to do to make sure that they took care of their children due to the circumstances that they were put in and life had dealt them.
Right. But just because a man is required to be nurturing to children, does that mean he's more feminine?
No. I'm sorry that I did the big breath, but no. Just like if mom could go up there
And just
and
because a woman is required,
she could fix a
if a
car.
woman is required to provide, if a woman is required to provide for a household, does that make her masculine?
No. I think those characteristic traits are genderless. I think they're just characteristics. Either you're slime ball or you're a good person. Either you give a fuck or you don't. Either you use people or you don't.
No, but the questions were nurturing and being provisional. You're telling me that they're not gendered?
I think they're categorized and gendered, but the action isn't gendered.
But nurturing, to be nurturing and to be provisional, to be protective.
That's just a name like mine and yours. The
Yeah.
action
Uh,
the
uh,
action isn't gender. If let's go back to that single mom, single dad thing. If the baby is available that's in this scenario is still feeding off of milk, and the father and the mother have to feed this baby Similac, that father is nurturing his child. That mother is nurturing her child. That's genderless. That's just you being you, what you have to do for the person you love. So you want to go and make it a grown up now, right? Between two people. Let's make it even, let's go deeper now, right? If
no. Don't move that fast. That's too fast. Now,
okay,
you addressed just the nurturing. Now,
okay.
how about at the child level being protective? Let's say a bad guy comes in the house.
Mama bear, Papa bear, like what's up? What's happening? Whoever there.
Oh, but right, but addressing the bad guy, is that a masculine undertaking or a feminine undertaking, or is it?
That's genderless. That's survival. Someone is coming to hurt you.
Okay, now if that's the case, the question remains: what is gendered? If those things are genderless, then what is gendered?
The name of it.
So this is
What
useless.
you're categorizing the action to have a gender, which is, I'm sorry, it's not nice because it don't make sense.
So you're saying that these all of these things are non-binary?
For sure.
You know how dangerous that sounds? So
You said,
there's no behavior that's inherently female or a trait of women
okay, I see
or
what you're
men.
saying. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. So the scenario of women being able to lactate and men not.
Well, I mean, that's a biological imperative, but that's where we're headed next.
You already went there. It's not where we're headed. We're there already, right?
So,
Now that's genetics.
right. That's biological. Those are biological gender roles and biological constructs that we can't
Okay,
change. But they have
okay,
to manifest into the psychology at some point, don't they?
True fact. No Similac in the building. Put those same scenario I just put up. The baby with the male with no mama dies. Sorry, deletes itself. I apologize. It's deleted. That's a fact.
So that's a biological imperative. Now, how would that manifest into the psychology?
You're gonna have to connect the dots on that one. Because I'm still on the you got me now. That baby would then that whole situation would be different. The action of it is
Let me ask you this.
very different without certain supplements in play. Does that go both ways? Yeah, it sounds like that's on both sides of the street there, right? Now we walked on that road.
Yeah. So, who do you think is more emotionally superior, and who do you think is more? Let me just start there.
Oh, emotional, that's women, and physical, that'll be men.
Okay. So, when you say physical,
Strength.
I mean we're physically superior. I mean we're stronger, faster, right? Bigger. Okay. And what does it look like to be emotionally superior for women?
Oh, that manipulation of the energy.
The ability to manipulate energy.
Well, I already told you, right? Men generate it, women control it.
So, a woman's ability to manipulate the emotions in others is how. All right, now you're getting somewhere. Now, now,
now we're getting somewhere.
now we're moving. Now we're moving the needle.
Yeah.
So there's this, and it was discussed on DJ Ham's panel earlier. One of the things that one of my sayings or mantras is a man shouldn't engage in verbal battle with a woman because he's going to get his ass kicked. Like if a woman were to engage in physical battle with a man, she'll get her ass kicked. Right?
Mm,
Their tongue, their use of words is as though we can use physics.
hmm
Okay.
They are all ninjas
Um,
with the yeah.
right. It'll talk you into a bad place.
hmm
And I've always maintained that women are also more emotionally sophisticated. What I'm saying is
The
women
senses are
feel
higher.
well, yeah, they're far more sensitive. And I don't mean sensitive like in the colloquial way that people say you're quick to cry and that means you're sensitive, or you wear your heart
No,
on
yeah,
your
I know.
sleeve.
Yeah, yeah.
What I mean sensitive is they people that can see better have a stronger sense of sight. Their eyes are more sensitive, right?
Yes, yes,
People
yes.
that can hear better, right? So they're emotionally sensitive, meaning they can sense with a greater accuracy and a greater variety of emotions.
The
I
spectrum
think
is more
their
sensitive
spectrum is far broader and far more diverse,
and sensitive. Is
and they can
basically
transition from one emotion to another much quicker than we can and much
mm,
more readily.
mm,
Whereas we're kind of left. I mean, I know me personally, I have about four emotions, and it takes about a day for me to, to get from one to another. You know what I mean? I really don't I'm a dunce like that. So, and I think that women can see emotions in others pretty, pretty readily as well. And I think they know just what to do to create emotional changes in others. Whereas men, that requires study, right? Men kind of have to work at that shit. and then we can like motivate you or whatever. But so what you're saying is women's ability to manipulate through emotions. I would absolutely agree is what they're superior at. Just like men can manipulate you physically,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. You'll be standing and
So
then you won't be.
there you go. Exactly. I can manipulate your position and orientation in the physical world really quick,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I can manipulate the physical environment around you. So now that we've established kind of a baseline, that's what I'm saying, the difference between femininity and masculinity. Like thinking about it like that, how would you approach?
Um, yeah, I'm thinking now, Aaron.
That's a good, yeah.
Uh, it's like I understand. I still feel like in survival things, I get where you're going. I feel like in survival things, I'm not saying that there's not a role there of between man and woman and how emotions and physical things work and the emotional superior of a woman and the physical superior way of a man. I think it's in the action of if a woman is genuine about her emotions and a man is genuine about his physical wants, things could work out. It's when manipulation of being vulnerable changes everything. And I get where women say they don't need no man because of all that other stuff and what society has, but we know that that's not how that works and all that other stuff. I get that. What we're talking about with just being genuine to one another. Don't manipulate the energy, don't manipulate the physical, be truthful, then that's how I think things would be. But I get what you're saying. I do.
How about this? Stoicism. Is that a masculine or a feminine trait?
Stoicism. What is I don't know what stoicism, you know.
Shit. Yeah. All right. Um, how about submission?
Submission is defeat, is it not? Or are we going in another realm?
No,
As
submission.
far as
No. So you submit to a leader. That's not defeat?
no, so no, wait, because see, you also submit a resume. See, that word is just a word, of play of words, right? You can also abide by, or you could relinquish, or you could have an understanding to what you must do and what they must do, and they have an understanding of what they must do and what you must do.
So a subordinate submits to their leader, correct? Like a private submits to a general.
Mm-hmm.
So within that construct, is submission feminine or masculine?
Right. Once again, I don't see that. Is it feminine to submit? We're talking about two different things, or are we just we're muddying the waters?
All right, let's clarify them. Is it feminine to yield? How about this? Physically
Uh,
yield.
so let's go like this. Yeah, listen. Yes, for sure. I'd rather die than yield. That's the first thing that really popped into my brain.
Rather die And yield. All right. Look at the act of sex. One is yielding to the other.
Driving. I'm sorry.
No, and well, where'd he go? Oh, here he is. He left again. He's whatever you're doing, be careful. Oh wait, he might have connectivity issues. So at any rate, yeah, what I was trying to get, the point I was trying to make is there's a yin and a yang to everything in life. But even when you dig deep, there's still a yin and a yang. And I don't know that we understand that. I think that we automatically try to label things as good or bad before we actually get a chance to label them. And I think that really screws up the labeling process. If anybody in the chat would like to hit the link, feel free. Waiting for Mr. Chill Out to come back. But the point I'm making is femininity is a good thing, and it's a bad thing for both men and women. Oh, here he is. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm driving through some
Sometimes,
trees.
yeah. You're good though, right? You're not distracted or nothing. You're all right.
No, I'm
Okay.
cool. One here, I had to sign on a different way. I'll probably sign back on again, but yeah, I'm good.
So when you think of during intercourse, one person is yielding to the other. The woman is yielding to the man. He asserts herself into her. Now take it from the physical back to the psychological. There's always a way to make a physical or biological example, right? But it seems the water gets muddy when we make it psychological. Why do you think that is?
I don't. We make it muddy because we're trying to manipulate a point.
Right.
All right, so I'm gonna
Exactly.
say like this: right? We're trying to manipulate. Yeah, we're trying to manipulate a point, right? And what made me my
Exactly.
brain went to was I watch a lot of like Discovery Alaskan living shows, and this is funny. This is coming up with the topic, right? But when those two people, husband and wife, are living out there, he's getting wood, she's getting wood. This is why I guess I don't see those things that way. She's hunting, he's hunting, right? Now there might be a split where she's cooking the food and now he's skinning the animal.
Just to let you know, we've added world class to the and then
Aaron, what's up? What's up?
dropped off. What's up, world class? What's happening, Mr. Chill Out? If you can hear us, you've dropped off. But what's good?
Like 40 minutes. Heard y'all was getting into stuff. I said, okay, all right, okay.
Well, you know what it is over here, man. We you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What was you
So
yeah.
What I'm trying to do is mine out, and I'm trying to do it in a way where I'm not pointing the conversation, right? I just bring Chill Out back. So Chill Out, we got world class with us.
Mr. Chill Out.
I'm sorry, my reception is horrible right now.
What part of town you in?
I'm coming off of a Boulevard in Welsh, but I took the back road.
Oh, up there, yeah, it's gonna be goofy. All right, yeah. You should be all right soon though, like when you get down like past Cotton. But
I cut through the Pennypack Park.
Yeah. Once you get the other side of the park, you should be all right. So I guess what we're trying to mine out is the difference between masculinity and femininity. And kind of so you know where I'm headed with it, world class is
Mhm.
both sides have negative and positive aspects to them, or traits that can be looked at as something a positive and a negative trait. And I think a lot of times the conflict that people have when it comes to assigning femininity and masculinity to one another is when we're assigning positive traits of one to another, or negative traits of one to another, and expecting those traits to maintain their merit despite the flip flopping of the assignment. Like a feminine trait on a woman might not read as positive
On a man.
on a man, exactly, and
So
then vice versa. You get where I'm going?
so you going so men of, let's say, males, the feminine trait of a male is not even going to be similar to a woman. Is that's the take too, or you're not there?
Right. And even
Okay.
then, if and it wouldn't be a negative female
Yeah.
trait, a negative feminine trait on a woman might actually be sought after in a man because it may read as masculine.
Right. So a woman, in her femininity, her negativity may be, let's say abrasive outspokenness.
There we go. That's
Right.
kind of the issue where I'm going.
Yeah. It'd be in a man, it'd be fine. In a woman, you wouldn't. That's not what you would look for.
Right. Or being demonstrative. When they say both men and women are emotional, yeah, well, no shit, because we have emotions. But and it's a lot of this shit circumstantial too, right?
Yeah.
But
That's
you,
right.
you kind of get the direction I'm going.
Let's see.
So what's your opinion on the subject? Because I don't think it's been really looked at like this before. You know what I mean? And I think that's why the conversation has allowed to become circular, people get lost, and nobody can really close in on anything meaningful because they're not understanding that both sides have a plus and a minus to them.
To that point, I think there's two things to it. I think the most important one is that people really do not know what femininity and masculinity actually is, especially femininity. That's the first part. The second part is to the point of why there's really no understanding is because they're just calling a woman masculine or calling a man feminine as a attack because they've seen it work somewhere else, and they're just saying it just to say it when they don't really care whether a man is masculine or a woman is feminine. They just want to take shots, get your lick back type of stuff, using this internet as false compensation for whatever they got going on in their life, or they just tick for tat with other people on the internet and not really having a genuine concern for what femininity or masculinity actually is.
Right.
So we don't have principle-based conversations and exchanges. So, and in principle, you won't get no conclusion because there's no point to get somewhere else. It's just everything is arbitrary about the feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At best.
Right. Exactly. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get around. I'm trying to make heads or tails of that. Do you think it's possible, or do you think we're at a point right now where people are so wrapped up in image and feelings that it's all but a lost cause?
Luckily, I mean, at the latter point is always the fact is always the majority. There's most people is a lost cause, but luckily life goes on, and people are going to be dealing with real issues, and it'd be great to have their routine of going to a panel or watching it live, some real information to come through. So I say that to say there's going to be a small percentage. 80-20 rule is always what I look forward to, but in this space, you'd be lucky for 10% of the people that actually want to learn something, let alone whether they can, right? Want to learn something, want to get clarity on it. It seems, but to me, these conversations are a conversation about femininity and masculinity is important because it's the law of gender. It's one of the main universal laws in life. We learn that the fundamentals is everything. You get everything from the fundamentals. So having a conversation with me is exciting. But you know, it can be. So to your point, to your question, I think eventually when enough stuff goes wrong for enough people,
Okay.
at
Yeah.
least you can have it on wax or have it on recording that, I talked about this and this, that, the third, and fourth. And then people will be interested in understanding. I think two things out of it.
But
One, how to be respectful, how to develop their own gender, whether you're a man, masculinity, women, your femininity, and then how to appreciate and respect the other gender. I think eventually that'll be a point if this conversation relates to some issue in their life. Go ahead, Mr. Chilla. I think you're about to say something.
I was. And first of all, shout out, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for showing up on the show. Really do. And helping out because I'm probably cutting in and out. I appreciate that very much. But this is what I was saying. Isn't it more how you operate than what a job title is what really I was trying to like weed out and get to? Like, isn't it just how that female operates as being a female and how that male operates as being a male, not pretty much the muddy waters of job titles or day-to-day activities is what I was trying to get to.
With respects to the standard, because they could be dope. They could be, you could have a regular office job and they could be artists at heart, and the way they do things is so artsy and interesting. But are you meeting the quota and meeting the deadline? Are you really handling the job right? They could be amazing communicators, very descriptive, very inclusive, but are you getting the job done? You know what I'm saying? So even if you're referenced about being feminine, you can have a woman that is in your life, showing you her femininity, making sure everything is decorated, beautiful, loving. But when it comes to the legal stuff, she's disorganized. It's abandonment, it's neglect. But everything looks great, everything tastes great, she smells great. That other part, that unseen stuff, she doesn't appreciate. You know what I'm saying? And but then that goes to your point. That's why it wasn't a contradiction. It was like with respect to the standards.
Okay.
You know
right.
Yeah.
No, so isn't that where I feel like we share those responsibilities? Like that's where you're finding a good partner at because of those pros and cons of one's character traits is what I like to call them. If they mesh and work well together. I mean, once again, within standard, right? Like if it all works together.
Yeah, I think that's what a relationship is about. You gotta freaking work together, you know. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point of being with somebody, is that we can work together, and it works together. And the relationship, I think, becomes more about the it, and then it becomes problems, and we get away from the fact that we got to relate. So, innately, those fundamental qualities, i.e., the standard that everything got to be done in respect to, in a sense, is the foundation of the relationship. We work together, like we work, and our work. I always ask the question on my channel plenty of times: does your work? You working? People say work hard, but is your work working? So, I just think, in most cases, I guess I don't know, because I'm trained. I kind of got out of the world for a little bit. I just default to the fundamentals, and I just think if we dial in on when we have these relationship conversations, even platonic, even business, if we focus on the foundation of how we relate while we're here, we got a goal to do. If we're working in a business, we have a child to raise or a dream as a family, right? If we marry, if we keep building our day to day on the foundations and fundamentals of a relationship, which is how we relate, why we relate, and why we want to relate, I think we'll move forward. Then that you create a nest egg, or not a nest egg, but you create a nest or an environment for your femininity and for your masculinity that will allow everybody to know that, for the sake of the lack of words I don't like, but comfort and safety in the relationship, where there's no risk of being ignored. If there's a clear and concise understanding where your femininity belongs, my masculinity belongs, why yours need to be here, why mine need to be over here, and how we need to meet when we how we need to be when we meet in the middle. How much respect you need, how much respect I need, how we relate. You know what I'm saying? And I think the hard stuff, the difficult stuff, got to be where we relate, which goes back to Aaron's issue about some of these questions. People do not want to be vulnerable.
That's what I was about to get to. That's what I was about to get. Isn't it? It's just being vulnerable. That's what it really boils it down. If we simmer it all down, remove all the BS and the nuts and berries, and just become vulnerable in a more genuine fashion, right? Is that? But I also get the flip side of it, right? When you're vulnerable to the wrong person, that gets misused, right? So
that was on my,
there's a risk.
That was on my point.
There's always that risk factor, right? It's the trials that you go through for love, right? Is everyone so overprotective now that they're so afraid to be vulnerable?
Yeah, as nail on the head. That's literally what I was going to say. I'll say it another way then. I think people have legitimate reasons for not wanting to be vulnerable, right? Because this is you're vulnerable. You can be hurt. You're in position, in your disposition in yourself, or i.e. letting your guard down. And whether it's a personal relationship or whether it's on the panel, when you got your guard down, somebody can hop up and attack you. You know what I'm saying? So we got such a habit of putting on the fake face in public, or putting on the character on panels, that it really makes it difficult for progress to happen, because the real people are not in the conversation. And to be honest, we know this as men. Your vulnerable you is the real you.
Yeah.
And and all that, your ability to defend yourself and your good traits and stuff is just, your properties. It's just stuff that you own. Your skills, some of your genetic traits. But the vulnerable you is the real you. The you that would laugh at jokes that you only wouldn't laugh. The you that probably want to cry when you watch the little puppy die in the movie. You know what I mean? I think what's happening, some of the anger to that point, I think some of the frustration and gender wars coming from these guys have really, really been hurt. And they're not willing to open up, and the women are noticing that. But the guys are like, hey, it's because y'all do this and y'all say this, and women don't want to go, well, we probably shouldn't say that. No, we saying this because it's no parlay. It's no, let's meet in the middle. So I've been in this space enough to have seen this. But this type of stuff is boring. People don't want to hear this stuff.
Because you really get down to, they want to windmill and get to it, but saying like, if you just, I think that if you come to a genuine place where you feel like you could talk, like the War Report in your show, right, where we can really get to it, and men and women open up in a vulnerable space, is the only way we get to grow. Because if then we just playing this. I'm sorry, we playing the same fucking game that we talking and bashing about with one another. We not getting nowhere, because I still got my guard up. You got your guard up. You have a facade to keep up. You have a facade to keep up. And then we get to these windmilling and points where it's like, where are we going with this? Because we're not being genuine and vulnerable in the conversation in real life. Because I feel, and me and Aaron talk about this all the time, is you learn through your mistakes. If you ain't go through nothing and mess up, how you know what you know now?
Indeed.
Right? You have to make mistakes. That's how you get this wisdom, and then you apply it. So if we can't be vulnerable within our mistakes, how we supposed to teach one another? Right? We can't teach one another. You can't, because you still put up this facade.
And you're not gonna learn if you can't be vulnerable enough to empty your cup.
Come on, man. When I went first racing with Aaron, I let him know, bro, I ain't do this. I don't know what this is. He said, don't worry, my brother, I got you. I had to be vulnerable to that situation so I could be willing to learn, and he had to be ready to teach me to understand that I don't know nothing about motorsports, and any information I'm getting from you right now.
Yeah.
So I often say, which is, if I'm known for any quote, it'll be this: when purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable. And once it's clear that we're not vulnerable, we're not talking vulnerability just for vulnerability. We're allowing vulnerability as a condition to keep the opportunity and keep the situation genuine and pure, so we can get clear and concise or
Right.
valuable, authentic results out of this. So we're not working with fake information. You know what I'm saying? And working with
Right.
false reads. You know what I'm saying? Or making false reads, I should say.
Right. Right.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, I mean, the one thing about this particular channel anyway, I mean, as you know, that's why we promote this kind of conversation, and that's why we make sure anybody that's willing to have the conversation is protected. We're not here to attack one another here. We're not here to argue. We're here to discuss, I mean, pontificate, if you will, but share knowledge, perspectives, and to build essentially and grow, right? And to be honest with one another. Jesus. That's the
Yeah,
problem that I'm having is, and I agree with everything you guys just said, but I don't like the end result being just the sheer dishonesty.
yeah,
Of all the places it would lead you to, dishonesty, which kind of makes it worse if you ask me.
absolutely. Yeah, because
You know?
you qualify for another level of warfare, and you'll never we get
Exactly.
further and further and further and further away from what was the point again? Like what was
Further, right.
you said this the guy's doing this
Exactly.
to you or the woman doing this to you because you wanted to do what? Did you want to get your lick back or you wanted the solution?
Right.
Did you want your voice to be heard
Right.
because you were ignored? Or now you really want to prove to this nigga that his life ain't shit for you? and that's gonna accomplish
Right.
what you.
Right. Exactly. You causing the very thing that you're trying to avoid.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's just you just watch it happen over and over and over again. You just like, wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow, tangent after tangent.
Yeah, no,
after
that's called
tangent
insanity, y'all.
Yeah, yeah,
That's insanity. You do the same thing looking for a different. That's insanity, y'all. We gotta move in a different direction to really help each other grow. That's what we trying. I think of it like this.
Yeah. How about it?
I think about it like this. It's like we talking about our kids and their kids' kids. What are
Right.
we teaching them? What type of people are we raising? So if we keeping up on the same foolishness that makes no sense, what are we teaching these kids?
yeah.
But if you TikToking and they TikToking, well, you already know what you're teaching them, right? If you sit down with them, read a book, go do some family stuff, do things that are important, not so much worried about what social media thinks of you. If you heard the beginning of the show, I don't give a F what this world thinks. I think I got people who love me and I love them back, and they know the genuine me and I know the genuine them. And when I meet genuine people, I embrace them and build a genuine family of people.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet some movers and shakers in the world. That's the world. But when you're trying to get down in this type to me in this movement with one another, we gotta be vulnerable to teach one another. I made mistakes, so I'm sure everyone in this earth has. They just don't want to fess up to them. But how am I going to
Well,
talk to you and give you my wisdom and point of view if I didn't make some mistakes?
well,
Go ahead,
well,
Aaron. I'm
well.
sorry.
Let me ask you this, and I think what you're saying, as I'm reading back in the chat, you're right. But Shiesty Bum asked, chew on this. She says she thinks it's hard to be genuine with real people that will use it against you later.
That's not genuine people. That's easy, my baby girl. That's easy.
But
That's not
no, you're
genuine
right.
people.
You're right. But I guess the question I'm asking,
How do you discern that?
how do you defend against it? Right. Because she's
How do
right.
you
It
tell
is
who's
hard.
whose? Yeah.
Huh?
Well, that's when you don't. I mean, you ain't spilling the milk the first day, right? It's just, all right.
Yeah.
So here's
Okay.
the operation of the brain, right? You're gonna go through some things, and you're gonna see how a person operates. It's like it goes back to these. I'm simplifying. I'm simmering character traits. A scum bucket is a scum bucket is a scum bucket. It don't matter what they look like, their hair texture, color, their skin, eyes, nose. It don't matter. It's the character trait of a person. If a person is genuine and good and has a good heart, that's who they are. If you're a piece of trash, you're a piece of trash. That's genderless to me. So it's about being genuine with yourself. First, be genuine to you. I always tell my son this: be real to yourself, because when it's you and you, it's only you in the mirror you lying to. So if you can't be real to you, how can you be real in this world? First, let's be real to yourself. Then take it on there and try that with other people. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Stand on what you stand on. And those people who are immature or fake, they'll weed themselves out who can't take that. And that's good, because that's where they need to be. And those people who ride with you in that same genuine movement of your being and energy, they'll come around you. I know for facts.
Yeah, I mean that's easy to say for those who are principled or those with integrity or those with courage, right? Because that takes a lot of courage once you get past the integrity and principle of it. But like, and it's easy to talk to gentlemen like you, right? Because intelligence is easily used to flesh out ignorance, right? And principle is can easily be used to flesh out, the wavering. But how do you suggest normal people or people with the normal fears of life or people who aren't as confident, how do like how can they go about speaking the real in a way that being vulnerable allows you to seek?
I've seen. It's a good question. I've seen
Great question.
sales, right? When you're learning how
Okay.
to sell, one of the things they teach us is law of averages,
Okay.
right? So
Make it a numbers game.
make it a numbers game by way of not conduct. You literally are setting their expectations because
Yeah.
you have to. One, you got to know, you have to practice. You got to practice.
Yeah.
If you're good, you got to practice recognizing it. That's what we do when we play sports. We got to do reps, right? In-house reps. I know when we were doing sales, we do role playing and stuff like that. When you first learn how to sell and stuff like that.
Yep.
But as it relates to this specifically, because that could seem, like he's just trying to sound smart about law of averages. You would look at the life that you've already lived, right? So you would look at how many genuine people have you experienced in your real life up to this point. Your expectation when you deal with that, at least for your own life, because that's the best pool of evidence that you have, because genuine people as it relates to you, how much should you expect in a different pool of a 10,000, 20,000 people, right? And then we're going to pick out those traits of this genuine people do this, they don't do this, they do this, they do this, they don't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to, and here's the expectation part come in. If you find a scammer that is doing all of those,
Yeah.
or putting on the facade that they're doing all of those good traits, hey, cool, law of averages. You bet 33% in MLB, you the best in the world. You don't expect to find 3 good people out of 10, or with respect to whatever that your findings is in your own life. You could come from a family where you only got 2 assholes and you got 40
Right.
family members. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I would argue if you got that type of lifestyle, why are you even looking for new people? Use your family.
Yeah.
It has to. I would start with something like that, like generally for the average person to get, like, you're gonna find 1 or 2 in this world right now. 1, lucky if you find 2 genuine people out of every 10 you find. I want to say 100, but who knows?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, and then you can have your number, Aaron. You can have your number, Mr. Chill Out. Marcus in the chat, they have their number, and then we got to start gauging expectations, or kind of setting expectations, who you can be vulnerable with, and what happens when I was vulnerable with the wrong person, and what happens when I'm vulnerable with the right person.
Yep.
And when I'm with the right person, we don't do this, we do this. We don't do this, we do that. With the wrong person, now I know the back end, we didn't do this, we did this. And in other words, you got to learn from other people's lives and learn from the life that you have. You know what I'm saying? And because it's important, I put that much energy because it's important. When you want to, y'all have jumped out of planes, right? And if you have somebody new that's going to jump out of plane, you got to prepare. Y'all have went through the process of preparing their mind from
Right.
them accepting, yeah, I want to do this, to them getting out the plane for the first time. It's a lot versus the next time they do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a ramp up period that got to happen when you're willing to be vulnerable again, because it's a big risk for people personally.
And that's even among the best of us, right?
Indeed.
You know, yeah. No, I agree.
That's learning from the mistakes, right? That's what we be learning from the mistakes. You know, as you were saying, I was thinking about. I saw this clip on DMX, RIP DMX, man. He said, "Trust everyone," and he said, "Trust a liar is going to lie to you. Trust a thief is going to steal from you. Trust that someone who is real is going to be real to you. You got to trust trust people are going to be who they're going to be."
Yeah, I agree. That makes sense.
Like you worrying about the wrong stuff. People are going to be who they're going to be. Just trust that they'll show you eventually who they're going to be. It's hold your cards. If you know you're a genuine person, hold your cards close, and then you'll start to meet genuine people. Don't show everyone your cards, because you got to let them show you who they're going to be. It's only a matter
I think
of
that's
time
something that
they show.
we all have to earn it in one another for sure. But I think I think that's a good way. Now that I'm listening to you guys talk, I think that's a good way to begin the weed out process to decide who's genuine and who's not. Are you willing to show me one card? Then okay, then I'll show you one. And I'm willing to, see your card and show you one more card. And depending on your willingness, the first person that freezes up, and I'm not saying that you automatically look at them as a snake in the grass, but you at least start to ask the question, well, why? What are you hiding? Or what do you think I'm up to or capable of? And at least now you have a starting point to have the conversation. And like you said, World Class, have your number. I mean, one, whatever that number is. I like the idea that you've at least started the momentum in the right direction. So many people are stuck doing the same shit. They don't even offer one card, and they don't even know what it looks like to have one card offered in
return.
They don't know what genuine looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
They don't know. No, it's so hard for people to recognize solidarity these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like just one there's no butterfly effect, and that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on one flap of the butterfly wing of solidarity to set us on a path to total righteousness and the ability to be vulnerable and learn for real on a mass scale, rather than everybody holding their hands super close, not trusting anyone past, not throwing them, but even seeing them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people are that evil, although there are bad people here. I don't think people are that evil to where we can't learn. That we got to sit here and argue and totally miss the point.
Oh, I think we'll get to that point. Somebody die or enough people die, you start to realize, hey, this shit real. This ain't no joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I see. I just been in this space long enough. I don't know. That's what I see. People just nonchalant about the wrong stuff.
Right. I think we just did it right now.
Yeah.
I think we just did it right now.
Possibly.
I think we just had a vulnerable conversation again with three gentlemen about what we really think. That was a vulnerable thought. We all laid the card on the table right now.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I think and if you can recognize it, I'm doing it for a different reason. My reason for saying it is not to get a woman. My reason for saying it is not to bring men and women together. My reason for saying it is because I'm a dad and I have to be vulnerable.
Right.
And I gotta do what I don't want to do so my son can be better than me and better at my weaknesses than me. He may not have my weaknesses, but I gotta show him how to work on weaknesses. And I gotta show him that you gotta have difficult conversations in public and in private. both of which, and you got to do it at a high level of integrity and be accurate and be confident in on what you say. So being vulnerable is a very important part of the relationships, and that old corny thing of the relationship with yourself, you got to be vulnerable. You got to be, hey, nigga, you suck. You suck because you do this, that, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. And you got to be in that, swallow that pride for a second. And you be like, you know what, self, you're correct. I do suck. I need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
But
I'm
that's
doing
profound.
trashy stuff right now.
That's profound. Though. What did you say? You said vulnerability without purpose was. You said earlier.
When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable.
That's what it is. There you go. There you go. That's what it was. Right. So you're the purpose behind your vulnerability, being a father, I think solidifies you and shields you from misuse.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Like that's a very profound, very motivating, and I think it's shared on this panel. And I think that all right, so that maybe that's what it is. Maybe people have to fall in love with, and take total confidence in their purpose first of all.
I agree.
Whatever that is. All right. Now, okay. Now
we're moving the needle again.
Now we're moving the needle again. I like it. Okay. When you said that, when you opened, I'm like, that's gonna hit us later. Okay. All right. I like it.
It's like guaranteeing you're not doomed. It doesn't guarantee success, but it's almost guaranteed you're not dooming yourself, I should say, because anything can happen. But you know where you're going. You're not aimless. Go ahead, Jill.
No, I'm piggybacking off you. I'm just the energy that you're saying, because it's like they'll make their own mistakes is what I was just going to interject with, right? They won't make your mistakes like you just said, right? But I agree with you. I told my son that you'll make your own mistakes. You're your own person. You have your own movement in this world. I have to be vulnerable enough. I'm piggybacking off of you, off of everything I have to tell you, because that's the way you'll trust me to give you what I'm giving you. You'll listen to me because I'm vulnerable. I'll tell you my weaknesses. I'll cry with you. I'll laugh with you. Because when I feed into you, you'll believe what I'm telling you because you saw both sides of me. You saw everything I have and everything I am not.
And you know what? I think one of my favorite, there's a law that was kind of revealed to me, shown to me, called the law of intent and purpose, is where I got that principle from. So law of intent and purpose. When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable. My mentor told it to me. I read it, and it came to me in meditation. And that's the lesson I was supposed to learn. Because I wanted to know, I asked God one question. I said, why the hell is things the way they are? And that's the answer I got. When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable. So once you understand the purpose of something, you can position anything and everything where it's supposed to be.
Right.
And little stuff like that change your life. Being where you're supposed to be. Know 5 things that people don't do. Doing what they're supposed to do. Being where they're supposed to be. When they're supposed to be there. Doing what they're supposed to do. The way they're supposed to do it the first time. Next to nobody does that.
Right.
Next to nobody does that. Next to nobody does all of those things. And when you put a thing in it's where it belongs, like we do in our houses in apartments and mansions and shit that we got, we put the ice in the freezer where it belongs. We put the milk in we put things where they belong, but we don't put ourselves or our thoughts where they belong. Or our reason for doing something, or our relationships where they belong. When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable. So I don't even know what you're for. I can't even use you correctly. Then my confidence is going to be affected by the misuse. And then I'm going to now, I got something wrong in the wrong spot. Now I'm thinking I'm good or I'm bad based off wrong stuff. And I can think I'm the shit because I'm dominating this thing that can't possibly fight me back because it's not in this proper environment. So it's one of the things that I've never ran out of an application for.
Yeah.
When you back everything you do, I usually say with principle, but with purpose, if you operate with the sense of urgency, then you find out really what you are. But then that helps me grow up internally, or what people call spiritually, because now I know what is the purpose of gravity. What was the purpose of the law of correspondence? Why did God make this like this? Because I'm confident enough in the purposes that I have. Now I can handle the God conversation. Now I can see how the universe works like it is. And like the conversation we had about fourth dimension. I'm interested in why God do this and why nature does this. And what's the point? Then I can implement at any time world-class level of success because I can just look at what God did. And I'm looking for the purpose first. I'm not wasting my time. Why does this do this?
Right.
I get into those why questions. And once I know what why questions being answered looks like because I'm making my life. It's easy. It's fun. Then I can, like, when somebody is giving me an answer, I know this is a bullshit answer. Oh, I know this is the genuine answer. And that helps me know when to, that prompts me to tie back to know when it's my responsibility to be vulnerable. Not just a choice or where I'm safe. Now I'm responsible for doing it because I know how important and precious this moment is once that answer has been revealed or I can see it.
Being aware.
Indeed. And based off history and experience, not just it's new to me or intuition. Or, you know what I'm saying? Not that those are bad, but I know because I made the effort to know. So it's very important to get the purpose of the people that you're interacting with to see if their behavior aligns with the purpose correspondingly.
Energy in the air. Yeah. I pick up what you put down.
There you go.
I do.
That's actually perfect, right? That's actually fucking brilliant. And you can assign people purpose in your life, and you can leverage right off of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can make them aware or not make them aware or whatever the case is. But it's a great principle and a great backdrop to measure their behavior against to determine integrity, especially if they agree to serving a purpose in your life. Any deviation therefrom, you will see it instantly, and you will know exactly where to slot it in without having risked a whole hell of a lot. That's all right. That was a build, bro. All right, I'm taking that. Right.
Yeah.
I like this one. All right. So it's 8:45. We all on the East Coast, yeah. So we're gonna close at 9, but I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I guess we get into final thoughts because this was one of those real intense. This one doesn't have to be long. This was informational, intense. This is one you close and you meditate on. You know what I mean? This one grows in your mind.
There. It took us a minute, me especially, to get there, but I'm glad we got here.
No, we're here now. So all right, so here's the last question. Women of today, do they respect the men of today?
No.
Repeat the question again.
The women of today, do they respect the men of today?
No.
All right. I'm going to agree and say no. And why do you guys say no?
Go ahead, you first.
They have so many reasons. They have no legitimate reason to even value them because they don't even know who they are.
Okay.
Their identity of men is the word no, or you gotta wait, or you can't have that right now, and it sits in opposition to their value system, how or their programming, a quick fix, instant gratification, something for nothing guarantees. Their feelings is more important than the God that man pray to or that purpose that man has. So I don't even think it's possible for them to respect. Because respect means to view again. That's literally what the word means. And men to women are just, it's like furniture. It's just something that's there. They don't really, unless it's a guy that they're attracted to. So I don't even see it being a possibility this decade for them to respect him. And it's subconscious. It's not even intentional because, like I said, it's programming. They just trained to be consumers. Like men are just a part of their consumption or their consumer experience. That's how I see it.
Do you think they feel or believe in some level that we're here for them, that we're expendable or disposable?
Inherited trauma.
Yeah, yeah. They've been. That's how they. It's everything is they just think transactional.
Transactionally. Okay. All right. I
They just
got
think
you.
that's just
Everything's conditional.
yes,
And if the conditions don't require it, then it shall not be.
and everything is forever. What is it like 30-day guarantee? Forever guarantee.
Oh, in perpetuity. Okay, I
Yeah,
got you.
for them, for their stuff. They just gotta. It's the whole thing of the whole gender war, the traditional versus modern, which is I hate that conversation because traditionally we always did what was modern, but they want the old men of the past, the guarantees of the old men of the past, but they want to be new and fresh, and I think men are done with that. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So. Yeah, I'm a drive too. I got to run, but I appreciate y'all. I might have to review this myself. I'm just even review in terms of just watching it over again.
Yeah. 100%, man. I appreciate you coming up, World Class. Always a pleasure, man.
I know what's up, man. We be back. Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Yep. Be
Peace.
safe.
Appreciate you.
Welcome into the stage, the Mr. Black America. What's happening, homie?
Can you
You're
hear me,
muted.
Aaron?
Now I can. Yes, sir.
I'm
What's happening?
muted. Oh, I'm
No, you're
sorry
good now.
about that. Hello, good afternoon. All right.
How are
It
you,
must
sir?
got a
Good.
delay because I had a little call.
A little bit. We
Hey,
can work
I'm going to
through it.
drop out and then come back.
Sounds good.
I'm going to drop out and come back. All right.
See if he hops right back. And then I think after this, we can wrap it up. It's 10 minutes to 9. You know, the women's POV should be today was a good show, so I'm interested in seeing where the Tuesday night takes us. And my wife has something in the oven that's smelling amazing, so I'm not gonna be up here too much longer. You know what though? I'm glad to have gotten back though. Chill, you know what I mean? Like especially being down under the weather and partying and oh, here he is. Here we go. Black America.
How's it now?
Perfect. Yeah. Looks good.
Hello, Big A, and I don't know the gentleman with the grumpy face. What's happening,
Oh,
bro?
Mr. Chill Out. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. I was hoping World Class would stay. That was the gayest shit I ever heard. I don't. I think just with that frame of thing, and it might be because I'm old, right? Maybe because I'm damn near senior citizen, and Aaron, I know you like the philosophy and all of that shit, but I'm a caveman, and I understand now that women don't respect men because they simply don't have to. They, your wife can pick up and leave with your kids anytime she wants to because she got daddy government backing. Then she has a brother or an uncle or a dad that will come and get her back. So she don't gotta do shit that the man say. Um, Before in the olden times or years ago, even if a woman stepped out of line, that was her problem, and everything that might have came on her head. It didn't fall on the uncles, it didn't fall on the brothers, it didn't fall on the cousins. She was out there with her man fighting against the world. Now she has the world backing her. And so yeah, they don't have to, and it don't have nothing to do with chakras and all of that stuff. It has to do, they have a new protector, and it's no longer the men. The men don't, they have protection from the people that's supposed to be protected. So
Well,
they don't have to respect anything or anybody.
I think funny thing is, I think that's kind of he was kind of saying the same thing that men are in a position where we're expendable in their lives, and he essentially was saying they don't because they don't necessarily have to, right? I mean, for the reasons may have been different, but I don't know that he said anything different. Maybe presented it differently. But it largely is based upon the fact that it's not required anymore, right? And that they now have moved into a position where they can be transactional on their own terms, and everything can kind of be conditional based on their whims and wants rather than their needs and you know what I mean, what they need to live. It's no longer an issue of survival anymore.
Aaron, has your wife ever called you because she had a flat tire or a dead battery?
No. A flat tire or a
Okay,
dead
so
battery?
my flat
No.
tire,
Flat tire.
any kind of emergency that needed you to come see to it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if 100%.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Now they can call the repairman. Okay, if if she could only have you to look for in all aspects of her life, then, and that's why I always say, a lot of people get mad when I say we'll never have a community again. And they can call the AAA for some gas or to change their tires, so they don't actually need a man to come see about it. But what if you don't got Geico or somebody that's gonna come change your tire or get you gas? Then you gotta call your daddy. I got a bunch of kids, Aaron, and I told my daughters, motherfucker, I'm not coming to get you after a certain age and after a certain time. You are on your own. I have gave you all the tools, especially when you get a boyfriend or have a man. I am never coming to help you. You are fucking cast out. I love you to death, but you are no longer my responsibility. I've watched a bunch of older men my age keep going and saving their daughters when they got bum ass husbands and boyfriends and shit like that. One of my homeboys just got killed because of his daughter's boyfriend. Little young man shot him in the back of the head because he was scared to fight from being disrespectful, hitting on his daughter and all that stuff. He said, all right, we gonna come outside and catch a fair one. And he was scared to go outside and catch that thing, so he shot my buddy in the back of the head. You are on
That's fucked up.
that. The problem is, yeah, he shot.
Sorry
Yeah,
for
he
your loss.
was scared. Yeah.
Sorry for your
So
loss.
I appreciate that. So the problem is they have too many subsidiaries that are going to keep coming behind them and protecting them at all stops. It's bad. It's bad for both sexes because men that are truly looking to have a partnership with a woman, the woman doesn't need you. And then the women, everything is transactional. So if you do this for me, maybe I'll go to dinner with you. That's what type of time we on right now here in America.
Black America, I don't think we disagree with what you saying. I think World Class and I were saying like it's how we operate and the energy. That's we're not saying the chakras. That's we're talking about the energy and how you operate with one another. That's when we saying is disrupted. What you saying is 1,000% correct. But we saying if we're gonna make a change on how that works. Go ahead.
But brother, let me explain something to you. Even using a word like energy, it's more of the women that come with this grand rising king and all and burning sage and all of Even you feed women saying, "Hey, you need to grow a beard to be sexy." It's any little thing that these broads do to make us as men kind of lean over to their side. It's like everybody, oh, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, then you're just saying you're banning, the A's. It's not that. Anything that our women do and we don't feel or sit right with it, we need to push back vehemently about it. And don't care. Using a word like energy, it disgusts me. Oh, she's not, man, she ain't got the right energy for me. Oh yeah, I'm not, dude. This shit is, and I'm just a person that watches it. I've been watching it for the last 50 years. It's bad. It's bad how you guys can eat every time, just the small incremental things, even with uh people that's transitioning sexes and things like that. Oh well, I don't like it, but it doesn't bother me. Now it's to the point to where we can't even say words that we grew up saying, like FAG. We can't say that anymore. You say stuff like you say it on these panels and stuff like that. They be trying to blow up your whole system for saying stuff like that. You can't say JEW anymore. Any little
Right.
thing, that we say now that we don't like, we get canceled for it. They cut our heads off for it. So I don't know. I was just listening, and I just want to jump up for a second. I know you're gonna try and close out, Eric.
Yeah. Well, with the use of the word energy, I think that's something that we should continue to do. The one thing, I mean, it's one thing to agree to not use words that people find offensive, but it's another to stop using a word because someone else decides to bastardize that word. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing I'll never do. If they want to go and take a word and try to make it mean something else, that's fine. I'm going to continue to use the word the way I intend to use the word, and I'm not going to avoid it because someone else tried to make it something else. You know what I mean? So I mean, I get what you're
Oh,
saying.
Aaron, I'm saying, yeah, because we used to throw the FAG out if say you're going to get in a fight. I don't know. I might have used to fight in high school, maybe too much, right? So you get in a fight and you use that word. Now, Aaron, they'll lock you up on some civil rights shit. Like you violated somebody's civil rights, and they give you that extra penalty of time for using words like that. Oh, you got into a fight with a guy who liked guys, and you said FAG. So now, on top of we was only going to give you 6 months probation. Now you're going to get 6 years for the same thing. That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about. So you never offended
I
anybody, Aaron? Come
personally,
on.
no. It's not that I never offended anybody. It's just that I never thought to offend anybody. I never saw the purpose in it. I never. You got to also remember, I was bullied when I was young. Like the Aaron of today is weaponized, is shaped from a very, because I was non-confrontational. I was always known as a gentle giant. You're muted. I was always you're muted. What are you saying?
Yeah, I know. I'm just listening to you. I said, I got a homeboy when we was in I think I want to say the ninth grade. He was your size. He was like 6'4", 6'5", like
Right.
265, but he
Right.
wouldn't bust a window in a ghost town. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. So from first grade to about eighth grade, that was me. You know what I mean? And I was targeted because I was a gentle giant, and everybody, you know what I mean? Oh man, if you're seen antagonizing this big guy, you can develop you can build a reputation behind that shit. So I never really that never really resonated with me. And then I went away to a military academy and I became good at football and I weaponized myself and I made a 180-degree turn in the road and then just became this, I guess, Marvel superhero of an individual. And I never looked back. You know what I mean? I went and played Division I football, went and joined the Marine Corps.
Okay, but have you ever offended somebody, Eric?
I'm sure, but not deliberately. And not by using a word like FAG. If I offended someone, it was by accident, but I never stirred a foot to seek a foe or purposefully, because I didn't like that. I didn't like the feeling of being bullied, so I wouldn't intentionally go seek that kind of.
I'm an '80s baby, man. If we was about to get into a fight, you definitely was swinging some words around towards individuals before you was about to get into the mix, for sure.
My question was, how are we about to get into a fight?
Probably
What
over
led us there?
Well, Aaron, for one thing, so you're a big guy. I'm only 5'8", and hell, I made 5'8.5", maybe my last year of school, first year of college. I made 5'8.5". Other than that, I was like 5'5", 5'6", and I was a roly poly. You know, I've been over 200 pounds since I was in the 6th grade, right? So it was always the fat, black, and ugly. My whole life, my cousins, everybody. I got that from everybody, right? So fighting, and then coming from LA, growing up in a gang culture, growing up in gang neighborhoods, fighting was an everyday thing for us, right? It was normal. It was walking to school. It was going to church. You know, the church was in the Blood neighborhood, and we all Crips. We go to church. You know, you might have to have a shootout, either going into church or coming out of church. That's in the 70s and 80s. That's how bad it was, and so even though you don't uh punch a ticket for a fight, that doesn't mean a fight is not coming for you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just like the young man said. Right. So yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but if it got to that point, I'm not talking. I've gone to work. Like there's no FAG. I'm trying to take your head off your shoulders.
I think back in the day, like if you was catching a feed with somebody, like they say out in LA, right? Like if you go, there was some smack talking going on, and you were going to use some words that would be definitely frowned upon in today's time, to get underneath one's skin or whatever the case may, to antagonize. It was going to happen before the fist.
But see, that's what I was good at. That's why I was non-confrontational, because I was good verbal. Like I would always try to de-escalate using words. People had to move to bully me because they couldn't talk me off my square. You see what I mean? Like that kind of vernacular never moved me, and I never used it until I just got sick of getting my ass whooped, and then it was like, oh, okay, you're gonna have to get physical, and then when you do, you regret it. But like I've moved past words. Words never did. Yeah. From the beginning, words never really moved me.
All right, so I'm inner city Philly though. I'm inner city. I'm Philadelphia school district back in the 80s. So if one person sees you, or 10 people see this one person bullying you, and you got 10 more bullies after your ass after that, if you don't smash this first one, you're gonna have to deal with all this shit throughout school.
Oh well, yeah, I think that's kids.
Yeah, but that go into middle school and high school. My first week of high school, I was gonna fight a football player. First week, I had to set that same standard straight. After I got bullied too, I'm 6 foot on a good day with shoes.
But did you say something to him, or did you just get?
No, it's just you targeted
to work.
Yeah, you're targeted
but
at a certain point.
You just target. I'm not
Right.
telling nobody. I'm just out the way.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, offensive vernacular, you're either going to have to target me or I just leave you alone.
Yeah, Aaron, you're
Well,
6'6".
well,
How tall are you in high school? I'm 6
I was
foot
12
now.
feet tall when I was being bullied and not being bullied. When I was targeted, you know what I mean? That never was consequential.
Yeah, but as
no,
now,
so what I'm saying is, Aaron, just like he said, it has to do with the antagonizing, right? So my dad, you're military, you know, we're a military family. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and the first thing when he did start training us, he said there's no such thing as a fair fight, right? So
No, yeah,
I don't
there
care
isn't.
if I have to put my thumb armpit or on your, you know, or on any major artery to try and make you pass out,
No,
or a
if you're
pressure
fighting,
point to try
I'll
and
pull
take
your
you
nuts.
down
Yeah,
as quickly as possible.
I'll pull your nuts off. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he said it. Right. He said if it lasts more than 45 seconds, then you lose. Right. Because he said that's what
mine's
you
8
got. You
seconds.
got
Yeah,
45 seconds to.
yeah. Mine's 8
You know,
seconds.
well,
If
when we was
it's
kids,
longer,
I
if it's
mean,
longer than 8,
once we.
go
Right.
ahead.
Well, my dad also believed in thumping. He also believed in thumping. He also believed, you know, you getting some licks and you taking some,
Oh yeah.
and you also giving some back. But so the whole thing about it is the antagonizing part is to get in little kids. The first thing that little kids do are boys, you know, even when I was training kids, is start, you know what I mean? So that's what, because if they're mad, then they can't fight. You see what I mean? So you do talk the football field on the basketball. I did type shit to that guy.
Are you? Is he clear to you? Chill out. You break. I don't know if it's me breaking up or if you break. Chill out. Am I breaking out? Am I breaking up?
No, I think
I'm,
it's Black America.
no,
Oh,
it's probably me. You hear me or no?
You breaking up?
Nah, you breaking up. Yeah. Yeah, you froze now.
Yeah.
Chill out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Frozen posing out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. He muted. Yeah, you break. I don't know where you. Oh, there you go. Yeah, he dropped. So, but yeah, Black America. We'll continue. We should continue this though, man. It's a good conversation. What time is it? It's 9:11 here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, 9:11. I love that time. Anything that has to do with the Porsche. Yeah, man. That was a great beginning to another build. But I like the conversation that was had. You know, with you and World Class and everything. This was a short but intense one.
It was good. It was just getting there, but we had to. I think we had to muddy the waters, like you said, before we cleared them up.
Yeah, of course.
And throwing out all the ideas or phrases people like to use incorrectly, and then just getting rid of that and really getting down to the sauce of things. It was a great show. Shout out to Mr. World Class coming through.
And that's what we do here on the World Report. Yeah, man. You know.
And Black America. I'm sorry. I don't want to forget.
Yeah. Of course. No. So, I mean, you got anything else, or you want to just wrap this up?
You know, as always, honorably obedient, overcoming dominantly throughout hardship, importantly noticing God's strength. Hood things.
Hood things indeed. Hood things indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the support. This one, again, was a short but intense one. A lot of love in the chat as always. Thanks for hitting the like button. If you haven't, hit the like and share and subscribe button on your way out the door. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy myself a late dinner. Anybody that's here still watching, meet us over at This Might Be Risky for the women's POV at 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, 8 Central. It should be a good one. Interesting topic today, segueing into another topic tonight. Hope to see you all there. And as always, if you don't go when you want to go, when you do go, you will find you've already gone. Time for us to go. Take care of yourselves. Good
Peace.
night.